Welcome to my first episode of Quick Reviews, a brand new format that I'm going to be experimenting with where I try to make shorter videos. And today's episode, I'm going to be reviewing a figure I've already done, Marauder Megatron. In case you don't already know, this figure is completely 3D printed, and mine is pretty loose, so bear with me. With that being said, let's get into articulation. For a 3D printable figure, this guy is quite pulsable. So, he can move his arms like that. He has full 360 rotation in the shoulders. Not much in terms of his hands. They could just move in like that due to transformation. His cannons are articulated, but mine are really stiff. Ball joint for the head. Cannons can move up and down. He does have a working turret that can swivel back and forth. He does have a waist rotation, but it's kind of limited due to his skirt pieces. He has really good articulation in the legs, doing the full splits forwards and backwards. Great bend at the knees, mostly due to transformation. And he does also have pivot on his feet. I'm so happy I finally got my hands on one of these, because now I could finally do a proper size comparison between the original Leader Class Megatron and the 3D printed Marauder Megatron. And Marauder Megatron towers over the original Leader Class. I still think this figure is better, but this guy is pretty good too. Just by having this figure alone, it's already kind of a flex because you have a Season 4 figure that was meant to come out but never did. Getting into transformation, I sped things up because I feel like I did a pretty good job in my original video, but I still felt like I should include it just in case. So I apologize if this is a bit too quick for you guys, but you can use the YouTube feature to slow things down. But here we are in jet mode, and I think this is the best looking out of the two vehicle modes. I was about to say robot mode, but robot mode is easily the best. Having a size comparison with the original Leader Class Megatron, and here is where he makes up some of his bulk back, because original Megatron is pretty dang big in his helicopter mode. Gotta say, having these two figures together is just incredible. And I gotta admit, the OG Megatron is still my favorite, and I'm happy I finally picked him up. But he's not the focus of this episode. The main focus is our boy Marauder Megatron. And just look at this jet mode. It is so sleek, it looks so cool. And I'm gonna go ahead and spin him around for you guys to get a better look at him from every angle. Getting into transformation into tank mode, it's very simple as you're starting off in his jet mode and just twisting a couple of his parts around. And here we are in tank mode, easily the weakest of the three modes in my opinion, but I still like it nonetheless. I think it's a pretty cool like H-tank looking Cybertronian tank. I know the shoulder pieces are supposed to like come all the way and lock in together, but for some reason it just won't do that on mine, but I think it still looks pretty good regardless. I think it makes it look kind of like an H-tank, kind of like Shockwave. Unfortunately, I don't have Shockwave, but I do have the OG Megatron for one last comparison. And yeah, the OG Megatron is a lot bigger. If you do want to display this guy, I do think the tank mode is where he's the most compact. So if you're struggling for space but you still want to display this guy, maybe transform him into his tank mode, as it still looks pretty good. So, while transforming this guy back into robot mode, I accidentally broke his arm off. But that's one of the beautiful things about 3D printed Transformers, is that if you break anything, it's not that big of a deal because you could just remake the part. Lastly, for the type of screws that I used, I did actually have to use a couple different ones, so feel free to pause the video if you want to get a good look at them. Here are the screws that I used originally for like 90% of the robots, and I did actually have to use some longer ones that I have right here for some harder to reach areas like the shoulders and all that, so yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this smaller video, as I look forward to making more of these.